Hey guys, my name is Erin Darnell, if you don't know me already. I just want to make a quick video, I'll try to be quick, about anxiety. I have had like a ton of people reach out to me lately asking me tips and tricks to overcome anxiety or what anxiety is. If you've been following me for a while, it's no secret that I have dealt with anxiety in the past and I have overcome it. No, I'm not 100% free of anxiety. I don't know if anyone is. I think that everybody kind of deals with it. Just some people are more prone to it, and I am one of those people. So I'll tell you a little backstory first before I tell you my tips. So I think that I always had anxiety a little bit, but I just didn't know what it was. I didn't really start noticing it until college, but I had no clue what it was, whatever. And I also have ulcerative colitis, and I think it kind of goes hand in hand with anxiety because it's just like so much like nervous tension throughout your body, you know what I mean? And it just it like blows up somewhere. So anyways, I didn't really start noticing it, like I said, until after I had Reese. I think she was like 6 months, 9 months to a year. I was drinking a lot of caffeine because I was tired as a new mom, right? And I was at work and we were super swamped and super busy, and I remember telling my coworker that it felt like someone was like sitting on my chest, or my chest was super tight and I couldn't even like take a deep breath. I just felt like I had so much pressure here, and I just had never felt like that before, and it was kind of scary. So I didn't know what it was. I kept drinking my coffee like usual, and I started feeling like heart palpitations and like a regular heartbeat. So I went to a doctor. He gave me Xanax, which I don't really think is a great thing for me. And they always told me it's addictive. I know some people get it like all the time. I'm not here to talk about medications because I did not rely on them, and I don't like taking medications for anxiety because mine was more in my thoughts and my diet, and I felt like I could take it on myself. So anyways, he didn't mention anxiety. And then one night I was on Google and I was home alone. Reese was asleep, and I was Googling anxiety and heart like palpitations and things like that. And I threw myself into a full-blown panic attack, and it was my first one I'd ever experienced. So scary. Thought I was dying. I remember getting up and I ran outside. I think I was going to go like get the neighbors or something. I don't know. I was petrified. And then I like came out of it and I'm like, what in the heck is going on? So when Rocky got home, we went to the ER. They did an EKG. There's nothing wrong with my heart, but they didn't mention anxiety. So still it's like this big mystery, you know what I'm saying? So then I cut caffeine out for a year because I kind of figured it out at that point, because I think I had, sat down and I'm like, how much caffeine have I really had today? And with some of my Google searches, that's what I figured out. So then I didn't have a panic attack or anxiety issues for a year. But then I love coffee, so I started drinking it again. And guess what happened? Another anxiety attack or panic attack, and it happened when I was driving. I was driving to work, and Reese was with me, scared to death, had to pull over. I thought I was gonna die. It was so bad. I have some health anxiety. Like if things are wrong with me, I kind of get worried about it, and then I'll think about it, and my thoughts kind of spiral. I just spit. My thoughts kind of spiral out of control. And then I start thinking the worst, and oh my God, I'm gonna die. And that's what causes me to have those panic attacks. But I've only really had 2 full-blown ones, and I haven't had one since then. I've had the starts of them, but I now know how to control them and how to get myself back to normal. Okay, so after that panic attack, I went to the doctor that day. Still nothing. They didn't know anything. So it's just kind of frustrating because there's not, I don't know. The doctor, I saw 3 different doctors and they never once mentioned it. So I don't know. Kind of irritating that you have to figure it out yourself. But it took me a while, but I figured it out. Okay, so after that, I cut caffeine out. And if you're wondering, I do drink coffee like every day, but I get decaf. And if I go to Starbucks, I always make sure I ask them like 5 times, did you give me decaf? Because I can't handle caffeine. So with that being said, my first tip is if you're drinking caffeine and you think you may have anxiety, you need to cut out the caffeine or the chocolate or whatever it is that has caffeine in it that you're consuming, because it's like adding fuel to the fire. If you're already like on edge, like kind of person, like caffeine is just it's a stimulant, so it's just like making you even more wired. And you know, I also noticed that I am more anxiety prone when I'm close to my period. Sorry guys, but it's the truth. And especially a few days before, so I'm kind of like not as hard on myself with things. If I need more sleep or if I need to rest more, I don't do as many activities. You just have to kind of know what's going on with your body. Also, my therapist and my doctor told me this too. After you have a baby, it could take up to like a year or probably even more for your body to get back to normal, like your hormones and stuff. So that's another thing. Like if you're a busy mom, you have young kids, like you may not be back to your normal yet because your body has went through so much, and hormones can really throw off those kind of things. Does that make sense? Okay, so after that, I finally started going to like therapy. I saw a therapist. It didn't exactly jive with him, but he was great. He did introduce me to meditation, but I did not believe in it. I tried it a couple times and I was like, I just don't see the point. Like, I need to know why this is good for me. And I guess he just didn't sell it to me enough, or he didn't explain it enough to where I could understand. So I have read so many books on anxiety. I listen to the Anxiety Coaches podcast and I've learned a ton there. I love that podcast. But I finally understood the importance of meditation, which I think is good for everybody, but especially if you have anxiety, because with me, I felt like I couldn't concentrate on anything, because like even talking to people, like I felt like I couldn't even like focus on like what you were saying or what I was doing, because I was thinking about other things and my mind was going like 100 miles a minute and it was like spiraling thoughts. So for me, meditating every day, you can meditate for 5 to 20 minutes. Anyways, it's really helped me like calm down, and I can focus on what I'm doing, and I can be in the present moment more, and it's just helped me so much. Like, I can't say enough good things about it because it's so awesome. It's been so awesome for me. So I have 2 apps that I use. In the beginning, I used the Headspace app, and I think his name's Andy, the creator. He was just on Ellen the other day. But I really like that app because I need some reassurance when I first started, because I had no clue what I was doing. And the Headspace app will walk you through it. It's a guided meditation. I love it. So if you're looking for one, I would highly recommend that. But it's so awesome. And they say that you can actually change like the shape of your brain by meditating. It's insane. Like, everyone's quick to like work out to change your outside physical body, but a lot of people don't worry about your brain. Like, there's always a stigma on like anxiety, depression, things like that. So anyways, that is my biggest tip, is meditating. Like, cut out caffeine, be easier on yourself, listen to podcasts, do meditation. I'm sure I have so many more. It's just, there's one more, sorry, and then I'll let you go. Deep belly breathing, and I can link below to a YouTube video where I learned. There's like a doctor in Chicago. I've read a couple of his books. I probably have them. Anyways, I'll keep going. I will link below, but my therapist taught me the same thing. So when you are going into a panic attack or you have anxiety, you're breathing like from your chest, and you can get a deep breath in that way. So when you start to have a panic attack, you're hyperventilating and you just can't, you start holding your breath and it's like hard to breathe. So when you do deep belly breathing, you're actually stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, and that'll naturally calm you down. So when you breathe in, you're pushing your belly out. When you breathe out, you're sucking your belly in. And my therapist told me pants too tight, when your pants are too tight and you're trying to put them on, you suck it in, and that's when you're breathing out. Another thing I did was I would try to visualize while I was doing that, because you want to try to stimulate your brain to be thinking about something else, especially when you're having a panic attack or anxiety, because you want to get away from those spiraling thoughts. So I would, when I'm breathing in, I breathe in like a soothing, calming color like blue. And then when I'm breathing out, I would exhale black, because black is just yuck, bad, get the bad stuff out of me. Okay, so those are my top tips. I do have more, but I'm not an expert. Like I said, I've spent hours and hours and hours researching this, and I've had so many people reach out to me, so I finally wanted to make a video. I just thought this would be easier so I could send it to people, so I'm actually talking to you, and I could just get this out and try to help as many people as I can. And, you know, if you are like, I will say this, just a disclaimer, whatever, you know, if you feel like there's something wrong with you, you may have something wrong with you and you need to go to the doctor. But I did go to the doctor in the beginning to check my heart and blood pressure and all that stuff. So, I mean, that needs to be your first step, just to make sure, you know, you're not dying or have something wrong with your heart. You don't want to just like, you know, brush it off and think that it's anxiety when it may not be. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped. Comment below and let me know if it is helpful. I can make more videos like this if you want. I just really didn't know that people were looking for this information or wanting me to give you information about this, but I do feel like it's part of my purpose, and you know, it really sucked going through it. It does suck going through it, but maybe this is why I went through it, because, you know, when I was going through it, I was very embarrassed, ashamed. I felt alone. I didn't even want to tell my husband. There are times I didn't want to leave the house. I thought I was going to pass out, you know, at the store with Reese or something, and it was just scary. And I don't want anyone else to feel like that, because I don't feel like there should be such a stigma around things like this, because a lot of people deal with it. We just don't talk about it. So I'll stop talking. 11 minutes is too long. All right, thanks guys. Bye.